Hello. Hi there. Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to break your focus. What's that you're eating? Can I see? Oh. I've never heard of this one before, but it looks interesting. Oh, this little thing. Well, I'm just catching up on some good old American history. No, I'm finally on the last book, and I have to admit, after holding out for all these years and, staying off of the bandwagon, which I normally try to do, as I'm sure you can understand, considering we're both here in this modern day and age, and still our noses are between good old paperback. But anyway, sadly, this series is just as awful as people said it was. Well, some aspects, at least. The romance was there. And, it was inspiring. It did make me want to find my own Edward or Jacob or, any of the other dashing characters in between. Maybe even a Bella, if you go that way. Let's say I come in here pretty regularly, and by regularly I mean every day. And I'm almost certain that I've never seen you here before. Do you come often, or is this your first time? Oh. Oh. So you used to come a long time ago. And like me, this was your favorite spot. Do I have that correct? Okay. But why did you say that you stopped going? Ex-girlfriend, huh? I see. So, again, just to make sure I am on the same page as you. You used to come here, but you stopped because your ex-girlfriend didn't want you to. And now that you are presumably broken up, if I have that correct. Okay, now that you're broken up, you are free to join me in reading books. Well, how gracious of her to allow you to spread your wings once again and enlighten yourself. Delight in the knowledge that awaits you. Surprises and twists and even a cliffhanger if you're lucky. And also, what a loss on her behalf. I know we barely know each other, but anyone who's a fellow bookworm like me is allowed in my circle of friends. Perhaps the even closer, more intimate inner circle. Who knows? Only time can tell. But I'd say we're off to a pretty good start, wouldn't you? Have you checked out any of the books in this section over here? Some of them are quite riveting, if I do say so, as I'm the one who's been slowly curating them over here. Most of the displays that you see around were designed by me, just out of boredom, really. Like I said, I come here pretty much every day because it's just quiet, peaceful. Speaking of quiet, I'm not doing a very good job at abiding by the decibel rule. Quieter than the sound of a pin dropping. I know I've been a little louder than that, but I just get so excited when I meet new people here. And I'm sure you recall my taste at the moment. Hopefully you can tell it's not a true reflection of my actual palate at large. It's just one specific flavor I'm indulging in right now, sort of a craving you could say. But like I said, it's been very enlightening, inspiring, and reminding of how lonely I am. It's been quite a long time since I had someone to call my own. Honestly, I would sometimes rather be in your position, freshly healing from some hurtful love or even my own mistakes, versus having the well run dry for long enough where I've forgotten what water even tastes like, feels like. I'm thirsty. I am. And that's not a good thing to be, so I'm doing my best to occupy my time and take up an intrigue in pop culture and all the cool hip things that I missed out on when I was in relationships. It's been nice. Don't get me wrong, it's been really good to reintroduce myself to that feeling of freedom, but I've been free for a little while now. A little while longer than I anticipated. I figure I'm probably not going to be jumping back into this book anytime soon, so no need for these lovely spectacles at the moment. Do you need readers, or were you blessed with the gift of good eyesight? Oh, I see. A lucky one you are, indeed. Well, I do love someone with good eyesight. It's a very complimentary gene to pass on. And clearly something that I don't necessarily share the possession of, so I wouldn't mind if you lended some over to me. And I know that's a little bit forward. Something about these novels, these fantasy romance books, they just skew your perception on courting and what that actually looks like in today's world. It's a little harder to say things like, darling, I know we've only just met, but I can't stand the thought of living without you. Please, run away with me. Take my hand far away and never look back. You and me till the end of time, death do us part. And death will of course be yours if you ever decide to leave me. No, we just say things like, hey, how's the weather? Oh, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, I saw that new TikTok, it was funny. Oh no, haven't really followed anyone new lately. the difference is obvious, and the first one is clearly a lot more exciting, which I know I'm just a plain old average girl, but I want an exciting life. I want something to shake me in my boots and stir up the cycles year after year after year, same thing over and over. It'd be nice to have a little twist of fate every now and again, don't you think? Say, do you mind if I recommend you a book? This one, right over here. Gift from the Sea is a very wonderful book written by a lovely author by the name of Anne Morrow Lindbergh. And without spoiling anything, the inner cover reads, "This small book of great and simple wisdom has spoken to hundreds of thousands of readers with a combination of unself-conscious grace and transparent clarity. Anne Morrow Lindbergh has given moving and memorable form to the problems that beset the human heart. The setting of her book is the seashore, the time a brief vacation that lifts her from the distractions of our everyday existence and into the sphere of meditation. As the sea tosses up its gifts, shells rare and perfect, so the mind, left to its ponderings, brings up its own treasures. Each shell stands as a symbol for various stages of life. A perfect, self-contained world beauty reminds her not only of man and woman's essential loneliness, but also of solitude, that well of replenishment. The delicately rose-tinted double sunrise shell calls upon the dawn of human relationships with its intensity and exclusiveness of devotion. The rough and sturdy oyster shell stands for the middle years, their duties and difficult achievements, and Arangata, delicate and free, hints at the solutions which she and other questioning human beings may find in the later years of their work and self-realization. Now, 30 years later, Gift from the Sea continues to influence women's changing lives. In an afterword to the 20th anniversary edition included here, Anne Morrow Lindbergh reflects on a world totally transformed over the decades. Yet, a world unchanged in terms of women's profound need for self-realization and each woman's need, as the author reiterates, to learn and relearn the painful lesson that women must come of age by herself. She must find her true center alone. And that lesson is as vital as ever today. Now, I'm assuming that the use of the word her at the end of that paragraph is similar to how they used he when referring to any one person in, say, things like the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bible, etc. It's not exclusive to women, just as being a human is not exclusive to men. Something I'm sure I don't need to explain to you, since clearly you're smart enough to grasp that concept, but I just wanted to make sure that you weren't going to shy away from the messages of that book, just because the last part of the paragraph was tailored a bit more towards the audience of women. It does not in any way exclude men, and I would actually think it's more fair to say men in particular would greatly benefit from reading something written by a woman, and just from the perspective of a woman and her own realizations. Who knows what you could get? A little, grain of salt from the ocean, the gift from the sea. My grandmother was actually the one who recommended that I read that book. Would you like to borrow this copy? I'm sure the book owner won't mind. I have a secret to tell you. I am actually the first cousin of the owner of this fine shop, and that's why I'm here so often. I am working to a certain degree, and as far as the IRS is concerned, that's the end of it. What I do in my free time is my business and mine alone. Are you enjoying your stay so far? I like to take reviews from all of the clients that we get in, even if they don't purchase anything, which you don't really seem to be quite as interested in that book as I thought you were when I first saw you reading it. Oh, you just picked it up because you were looking at me and using the book as a shield and diverting your eyes whenever ours would meet. Clever. And like something right out of a movie. But cute and romantic. I knew there was a reason that I felt so drawn to you. Oh, I have another book I'd love to recommend you. Let me go grab it. It's right over there in that other section. Let me see. I put it over here somewhere. Are you ready? My second recommendation for you today is none other. It's a little dusty, hold on. Alright, none other than The Four Agreements, but this is the companion book specifically. The original Four Agreements is also a lovely read, but I have this funny feeling that you have already read that. So, allow me to introduce you to the companion book. The Four Agreements introduced a simple but powerful code of conduct for attaining personal freedom and true happiness. Now, the Four Agreements companion book takes you even further along the journey to recover the awareness and wisdom of your authentic self. This companion book is a must-read not only for those who enjoyed Don Miguel's first book, but for anyone who is ready to leave suffering behind and to master the art of living in our natural state, happiness. In this book, you will find how to break the domestication that keeps you enslaved by fear, keys to recover your will, your faith, and the power of your word. Practice ideas to help you become the master of your own life. A dialogue with Don Miguel about living the Four Agreements, and last but not least, success stories from people who have used the Four Agreements. The introduction has a little snippet here that says the Four Agreements are a tool for transformation, leading you to stop judging mainly yourself and to start practicing another way of life. I just figured that considering your position in life right now, seeing as you recently got out of a pretty serious relationship, it sounds like one that was indeed domesticating you and causing you to live in fear. I just felt like it's time for you to make acquaintances with this wonderful read here and see what bits and nuggets of wisdom it has to offer you. Would you kindly accept this suggestion from me? You can return it at any time, just make sure it stays in as good of condition as you found it. This is a very special copy, as my father passed this down. My cousin's father and my father are related, and they both bonded over the Four Agreements. They even have the symbols of them tattooed. So, pretty special, like I said. Just make sure you return it in good condition, okay? I'm glad you're showing an interest in the things that I'm wanting to share with you. It means a lot. Do you mind if I get a little bit more reading done? Yeah, like I said, finally after what feels like many, many months, finally on the final book in the #1 best-selling Twilight Saga. I just really don't know how this was a #1 best-selling series, but like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, and maybe there's something in the last little bit of this last book that's gonna change my mind. But anyway, I think it was on page 260. Feel free to read one of the books that I've just recommended you, or you could go back to the original that you started with when I so rudely interrupted you, which, by the way, I am sorry about just kind of barging in with my conversation. I know that not everyone wants to talk to a stranger in public when they're trying to relax and isolate, be a recluse, so sorry for making you socialize, but also thank you for being a good sport about it. Yeah, I do appreciate you indulging me in some lighthearted conversation, and I hope that it's all been in good fun. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself as much as I am. Well, alrighty then. Read away, and I'll check back in with you in just a little bit. He said it wasn't fair to work except that way. It's your own where you belong. Sadly, Blanche Yeti stands with the nickname for her. Nobody had to build 3 words. She was yelling along the street. Didn't have to be in her head. She was getting I waited till she was done. Let me leave. So you go. She's nature. Still family. Get past the few, but we do. Just a girl and just sit there with Susan. Nobody wants family powered. It's gone, but not like me said. He waved at heartily. Wait. Embry, okay. Surprise crossed his face. Embry, sure. He's fine. Why? Just wondering why Sam's gone. Which does reaction, still suspicion that something was going on. Saw knowledge flash in his eyes, but it didn't look like the kind I was expecting. It's not anyway, Jake. It's not, I'm just curious. I saw it touch from the corner of my eye, but I didn't acknowledge it. Didn't want to give Chloe. I was reacting to the subject. It's in all of your instructions. Goodbye, Jacob. Sign, yeah. Bye, Jack. Hey, tell my dad that I'm okay with you, and I'm sorry that I love him. No, thanks. He turned away from us, sending out of sight. Praise because Leah was here. Belko and were right on his heels and quell his tape. He helped softly, and I took a step toward him. Yeah, I miss you too, bro. No job to me. into the story there. I almost forgot that we were co-reading. How is your book? Are you liking it so far? Good. I think I might just take a break for a little bit and come back to it a little later when I'm alone again. Like I said, it's intriguing how intense the dialogue of these characters is. Real life is only so similar before the hyperbole and exaggeration starts to become a bit questionable. However, I do still very much enjoy the imaginative world, this universe, just because something about it, the immersiveness of the drama and the chaos. I have a lot of respect for my quiet, simple life, knowing that it could be crazy, full of manipulation and feuds and battles. I don't have any of that going on, thankfully. No. I apologize. I'm getting a bit sleepy. It is a little late. It's been very nice to get to know you a little bit better. And I really hope that I get to see you around more often. And like I said, don't worry about returning the books anytime soon, but if you get through them quickly, I'm sure I could muster up some new recommendations for you. I'd really love to see you again, even if just for another co-reading session, in case talking's not really your thing. Well, it's about that time for me. I need to start cleaning up and getting everything shut down. All of the terminals where people check out and the community laptops over there. They need to be wiped down. I have to take the books on that cart over there and return them back to their proper places on the shelves. Looks like someone left a little bit of a stain on the table over there. I'm gonna have to clean that off. As you can tell, my work is cut out for me and it's piling up by the second. It was worth it to sit here with you for a bit and really soak in every moment. You never know, this could be like so many of my favorite books where the main character, which could be myself or perhaps you, Guess we don't know. Depends on who's writing the story, doesn't it? But the main character meets a potential love interest, and then they don't see them again for quite some time, although there's no lack of thinking about them day in, day out. I just have this feeling you might be like that for me. Something I just can't quite get out of my head. So I wanted to leave myself with no regrets and spend as much time here with you as I could. However, it does sadly have to come to an end. So please take those books home with you and give them a nice thorough read. Spend some good quality time together, just like we did, and bring them back to have a chat with me about what you thought. Alright. It's a deal. Well, I better start putting stuff away. But again, thanks for coming in, and don't forget to recommend this place, take pictures to put on Google reviews or whatever people use these days. Yelp. Like I said, my nose is usually a little bit too deep in the pages to be thinking about all the technology. But I do have a phone, and I do have a number for said phone that you may or may not be able to contact me off of. Would you like to know the number? There's actually 10 of them. Alright. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll go ahead and recite my own very unique code with which you can use to contact me. And the number is 7 5 2 6 3 1 5 4 7 2. You can call me anytime or text. Give me a nice long novel to read. Send me all the words I've been waiting to hear, and I will do my best to do the same for you. I'd love to romance you a little bit, but all in due time. I'm patient. Yes, and lonely, you're right. Thank you for reminding me of that. So nice of you to remind me. Hopefully that will change pretty soon, though. Right? Okay. I hope you have a good night, and I'll see you soon.